welcome back. This is day 3 of the Virtuoso's program. I'm glad you're here, and a couple of things. So we're going to have a group call today at 2 p.m. Like I said, if you have any questions or if you'd like to meet other people, definitely come and join us for an hour. We're going to be here for you. Another thing to keep on your mind is that you have the option of signing up for a masterclass of either Donna Curry's studio, Dana Zapata, or my studio. So if you'd like that, just comment on who you'd be interested in taking a masterclass with, and that's probably going to be either tomorrow or Friday. So let me know if that's something you guys want to do and who you would like it with and what would be the best day for that. So today's scale that we have is D major. So D major has 2 accidentals, and our 2 sharps are F sharp and C sharp. And today's the relative minor of D major is B minor. So please try that, or try an octave of that major, D major, and I hope you'll challenge yourself to even try 2 octaves or so. So we're continuing with intervals, and then our intervals for today is minor third, major third, and perfect fourth. So yesterday we went through some songs that would help you identify these intervals, and we're going to do the same for today. Make sure you are filling out the worksheet. It will be very helpful for you, and that's something that you can always go back and look on some information if you ever need it. So anyways, with today's intervals, minor third, you can find it in the song So Long Farewell from Sound of Music. So long farewell. And then you have the Spider-Man theme song and A Bad by Michael Jackson. So here is what a minor third looks and sounds. This is a minor third. Next we have major third. Songs for major third is Kumbaya, Kumbaya, or Oh When the Saints, oh when the, and then we have For He's a Jolly Good Fellow, For He's a Jolly Good Fellow. So those are some songs that you can use to help you for a major third, and this is what that looks and sounds like. This is a major third. Next, we have a perfect fourth. The songs that we have for a perfect fourth is Amazing Grace, and then we have Here Comes the Bride, bum, 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 and then Harry Potter theme song, bum, 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 and then We Wish You a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. As you can hear that intervals throughout all these songs, how you can notice that's a perfect fourth. So here's what that sounds and looks like. This is a perfect fourth. The next thing we're going to talk about today is scale degrees. Why are they important? So scale degrees is another way to notate notes, and it's helpful when constructing chords and intervals. The different ways to indicate scale degrees are with numbers, Roman numerals, solfege, and note names. And we're going to go a little bit through that, but here is what that looks like. Alright, so I'm just going to start with the simple C major scale, and I will have this staff paper available online if you want to follow along with me. Up to you, but we're just going to go through different ways to notate notes. So first we're going to start with note names, and I just wrote a C major scale. So that's going to be C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and that's just note names. Next, we're going to have Roman numerals. So we're going to do a 1 for the first note. We're going to do a 2, a 3, a 4, 5, 6, and a 7. And that's what Roman numerals will look like for C major. Next we have solfege, which is do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And that's what that will look like. And then we have scale degrees, which would just be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. So these are the different ways that you can notate them. And another way is also with doing the dominant, the tonic, supertonic, and mediant, and all that we're going to talk about next if you'd like to follow. But these are a little bit more simpler. So I would suggest that you would try this. Either if you're writing out a scale or if you want to write out your scales, try to either write one of these notations for it. And that's that for notating notes. So each note of the scale has a special name called a scale degree. The first and last note is called a tonic. The fifth note is called the dominant. The fourth note is called the subdominant. Notice that the subdominant is the same distance below the tonic as the dominant is above it. The prefix sub is Latin for under or beneath. The third note is called the mediant, since it is the middle of the tonic and dominant. Likewise, the sixth note is called the submediant, since it is in the middle of the upper tonic and subdominant. The second note is called the supertonic. Super is Latin for above. The whole the scale degrees for the first 6 notes are the same for both major and minor scales. The 7th one is special. If the 7th note is half a step below the tonic, it's called a leading tone. Leading tones also occur in harmonic minor and melodic minor. In a natural minor, the 7th note is a whole step below the tonic. In this case, the note is called a subtonic. A number with a caret may also be used to indicate a scale degree. For example, the dominant of a scale, G in this above example, may be labeled as a 5 with a caret. So that's a little bit about scale degrees. I challenge you to use different scale degrees in your music today, or just, if you were to write up a scale, how that would look differently with solfege, with numbers, Roman numerals, and with the tonics, and just try to identify all of those. Next thing we're going to talk about is our composer of the day, John Cage. So John Milton Cage Jr. was born in California in 1912. Cage was an American avant-garde composer whose inventive compositions and unorthodox ideas profoundly influenced the mid-20th century music. Cage was a son of an inventor, which you will see in certain compositions how he was inspired by this. Cage briefly attended a private liberal arts college in Claremont, California, then traveled to Europe for a time. Returning to the States when he was in his 20s, he studied music with famous composers including Arnold Schoenberg and Henry Cowell. While teaching in Seattle, Cage organized percussion ensembles to perform his compositions. He also experimented with works for dances too. Cage's early compositions were written in the 12-tone method of his teacher Schoenberg, but by 1939, he had begun to experiment with increasingly unorthodox instruments such as the prepared piano. So this is a piano modified by objects placed between its strings in order to produce percussive and otherworldly sound effects. Cage also experimented with tape recorders, record players, and radios in his effort to step outside the boundaries of conventional Western music and its concepts of meaningful sound. The concert he gave with his percussion ensemble at the Museum of Modern Art in New York City in 1943 marked the first step in his emergence as a leader of the American musical avant-garde. So there'll be a video for you to watch about him giving a demonstration performing his work, Water Walk. And this is a very interesting piece that he does, and this is where he's using objects and just stepping out of the boundary of Western music. So I'll have a link up for that for you to watch. I would definitely recommend you watching, and then it just puts in perspective the things around us that creates music. But John Cage's goal with his music was to keep the audience thinking attention of the music around us and that we hear every day. Whether it's birds chirping, chimes from electronics, alarms going off, washing machines, there's always music around us, all these sounds. And as you can hear in this video, I'm pretty sure you can hear the birds chirping, you'll hear some cars zooming by, maybe you'll hear lawnmowers, but these are all sounds, which music is sound. So Cage came to regard all kinds of sounds as potential musical, and he encouraged audiences to take note of all sonic phenomena, rather than only those elements selected by a composer. To this end, he cultivated the principle of indeterminism, so that's to be undecided or the state of uncertainty, in his music. He used a number of devices to ensure randomness and therefore eliminate any element of personal taste on the part of the performer. So unspecified instruments and numbers of performers, freedom of duration of sounds and entire pieces, and enact notation and sequences of events determined by random means such as by consultation with the Chinese Yijing. So among Cage's best works are 4 minutes and 33 seconds, and this is a really cool video for you to watch, and this is how it really just puts sounds in perspective for the audiences. A piece in which the performers remain utterly silent on stage for the amount of that time, although the amount of the time is left for to the termination of the performer. But that was one of his best known works. 4 minutes and 33 seconds is pretty much silence from the performer, except for the audience. The audience, I guess, in that sense, would be the performer. And you'll get what I mean if you watch the video. Another popular piece is Imaginary Landscapes for 12 randomly tuned radios, 24 performers, and a conductor. The other one is the Sonata and Interludes for prepared piano. We have the Fontana Mix. It's a piece based on a series of programmed transparent cards that, when superimposed, give a graph of the random selection of electronic sounds. And Oratorio, an electronic composition, utilizing thousands of words found in James Joyce's novel Finnegan's Wakes. So John Cage's work was recognized as significant in the development of traditions ranging from minimalistic and electronic music to performance art. So John Cage really just brings sounds and music to a different perspective, and it's really interesting as a musician to see that, because then I think it puts more emphasis of the music that we bring out with our pieces and stuff like that. So go ahead and watch John Cage's videos. They're really interesting, so I hope you enjoy them. So today's practice goal is to notate a section of your music with scale degrees for either Roman numerals, solfege, or with numbers. Just do a section of that, and you can also locate the intervals, minor third, major third, perfect fourth in your music as well. So I hope you have fun with that, and then we'll see you tomorrow.